And also I'm going to show you my before and after of why I will stick with my learning strategy. Hi, my name is Frost, and today we are sketching anatomy. Now, before I continue, if you have yet to, please subscribe and also turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. Now, typically, when I am trying to learn something new, I will test my visual library, meaning I would either draw from my imagination solely, or I might use a reference just doing it and seeing how it'll turn out. Well, at this point in the video, this is my second attempt of drawing from my imagination. I was thinking if I started with the head, do some basic lines. Well, it didn't work out, so I tried it a third time. This time I started with the chin and then decided to go down. And I feel like when it comes to new artists, when you're drawing and something seems off, you think to the back of your head like, oh, it might look a little, but I'll trust the process at the end. But I learned early on, if your sketch looks terrible, that everything else would just come out terrible. But once I got to the third piece, I realized this is the time that I need practice. So we are on Pinterest. So I'm going to share a tip with you that I've learned that I do see improvement on. I will keep doing until I get, what I'm learning now, anatomy down. And also I'm going to show you my before and after of why I will stick with my learning strategy. So we have pick reference number 1, reference number 2, and reference number 3. Now the first thing to learning an artist's art style is to trace their work. Yeah, there's nothing bad about tracing an artist's work that you are trying to learn from. Just simply don't claim it as your own. I would also encourage you to become their Patreon. Artists do have Patreons where they share exclusive content when it comes to the brushes they use, more in-depth tutorials on how they create their art. And obviously, I'm saying this from experience. I am one of Sam's Patreons. I have seen him go in depth with a lot of his paintings, with how he renders, how he creates faces and expressions, and his process. But I'm not going to sit here and say that you need to become a Patreon. I wasn't always Sam's Patreon to begin with, based off some of the YouTube videos that he already has posted. But as you can see, I am tracing one of his artworks, focusing heavily on brush strokes and not making my lines so perfect. And honestly, I can't remember the last time I ever had a bag of chips. So now that we're done with sketch number 1, we do the same thing for the rest. Now that we are done with our traced sketches, you're going to look at them really good, and then you're going to sketch them again. Now you can do this as many times as you have the patience for. Now this time we're going to find a reference and see if we can draw a person. So this is victim number 1. Now before I do my sketches, yes, I did try. Do I think I could have done better? Yes. Do I think that I did better than I thought? Yes. And typically when I start a sketch of a person, I will start with the top of their head. But I do have issues when it comes to proportions. But it's okay, because who really follows the proportions on their plate? It is liquefied time. Now, when I did start getting back into art, I didn't really sketch on a normal piece of paper because I already had an iPad. All I really did then was just had my sister buy me a pen. And then the iPad broke from the inside. And then maybe like a month or two later, I just bought the cheapest iPad, which I think is the 9th or 10th generation. And then I just used that. And also because on paper, there's no liquify tool. Now to hear my thoughts on my first sketch. To be honest, as I was drawing this, I was very, very irritated with myself. I thought it looked nothing like what I just traced. But then I really took a step back and thought about how I felt going into the sketch. And honestly, I wasn't thinking too positive based off my previous anatomy attempts. But I was like, hey, at least you can tell what it is. So for that, I give myself a B+. And I would have gave myself an A if I remembered to draw the bag. Now we have victim number 2. Now I'm going to run through this a little bit quicker because honestly, I don't know what I was thinking with this one. Or if I was thinking at all. I really tried to give myself a lot of encouragement when I was drawing her. And by looking at the reference, there's not a lot of tough angles, really. Shapes look very beneficial in this reference. So that's probably what I should have focused on. But I didn't realize how big her chest was until I finished drawing the legs. So with this piece, I asked for you guys to pray for me and pray for my hands because I really need it. I didn't lose all hope after I did this though. I was thinking maybe it was just the reference, I wasn't really ready for it. And honestly, I was really trying to rush this piece because I was very, very irritated. Did not like at all how it came out. I kept thinking her torso was way too big. But I started trying to use the liquify tool to see if I could mess with anything, fix anything, see if I can fix her proportions. But I think by using the liquify tool, I did kind of make it look more bearable. And if I were to rate her, I would definitely give her a C. A lukewarm C. Now, based on the previous sketch, I decided to go back on Pinterest and see if I can find something a little bit more easier. And I think I did. So here is victim number 3. Now, I thought this might be a little bit easier for me considering that all the references that I got from Sam was everybody in jackets. So in the back of my head, I thought I definitely had this one. As usual, I decided to start from the top. This time, I kind of made her in a little stick figure. I don't have to focus too heavy on the proportions side of everything. And honestly, I think the stick figure looks pretty good on her. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the reason why I started sketching was my before, and here's my after. Here's the reference. So yeah, sketching does wonders. I would like to also make a video on redrawing the things that I've drawn years ago, but that's gonna have to wait until I see some more improvement from myself. Not that I'm not a pretty good drawer now, considering my before and after, but I do think I have a little bit more to learn before I can go ahead and recreate my old drawings. I do also plan on recreating the ones that I've created today because it's so much easier to see the improvement that you've made over the past couple months when you redraw something that you drew a while back. So try to make that a goal of your own. Yeah, judging by her face, this will be a goal of my own in the future. And her torso is still big! And I left her stick lines there. So now that I finished the last sketch, I would definitely give it a B+. I don't know, for some reason the torso of the jacket looks extremely huge. But thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, share my channel, share your ideas, and I will see you in the next video.